At the 2026 NHL Draft in Buffalo, Justin Bieber walked onto the stage and announced Toronto's new first overall pick, Gavin McKenna.
Mr. McKenna, we would like to draft you to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
In Toronto, first overall picks don't get timed, they get expectations. So how good is Gavin McKenna actually? Not the hype, not just the rankings, not just the WHL numbers everybody keeps repeating. What does the full picture tell us? The strengths, the concerns, the realistic ceiling about the 18-year-old who just became one of the most scrutinized prospects in hockey. That's what we're doing today. To understand what Toronto just drafted, you have to start at the beginning, and the beginning is unlike any first overall pick in modern NHL history. Gavin McKenna grew up in Whitehorse, Yukon, population under 40,000 people, closer to Alaska than to any NHL arena. He burst onto the scene at 14 with a 4-assist debut in the WHL. Ranked number 1 by most major public boards heading into the draft, NHL Central Scouting had him first among North American skaters. TSN had him at number 1. McKenna was hockey's least surprising number 1 pick in years. In his first full season, he put up 97 points in 61 games at 16. He followed that with 129 points in 56 games, winning the CHL Player of the Year award. He totaled 244 points in 133 WHL games and posted 14 points in 7 games at the World Juniors. And then he made the decision that changed everything. He became one of the first high-profile CHL stars to make the NCAA jump under the new eligibility rules, playing against older, bigger, stronger competition, with the entire hockey world watching. That decision is the key to understanding everything that happened next. So what does McKenna actually give you on a hockey rink? He treats the game like a chess match. He changes pace and lanes, uses teammates as props for deception, freezes defenders, and then delivers the puck to places the opposing team hasn't protected yet. His processing speed, how quickly he sees plays before everyone else, separates him from this entire draft class. He's an elite playmaker. His passes arrive exactly when and where they need to be, even through traffic most players wouldn't attempt. His power play instincts are already NHL caliber, and his skating, while not a burner, is deceptive. He manipulates defenders rather than simply beating them in a straight line. The scouting comparison that keeps appearing. His playmaking reads like a young Nikita Kucherov or Mitch Marner in the offensive zone. Not their overall game, but how they see and use space. This is serious company. Here's where we have to be real. The early weeks at Penn State were not what anyone expected. The tight checking of the NCAA exposed things in McKenna's game that the WHL had hidden. There were moments he looked light along the boards. Too often, he was waiting for the puck rather than hunting for it on the forecheck. Scouts started souring. His stock, which had seemed untouchable, started getting questioned. And there was an off-ice incident. After a January altercation, McKenna faced assault-related charges. In February, prosecutors withdrew the felony aggravated assault charge, but misdemeanor and summary charges remained. He has not publicly given his full version of events. It did not cost him the first overall pick, but it is part of the full picture. Now here's the other side, and this part matters enormously. After the World Juniors, McKenna came back to Penn State on a mission. His final 19 games, 33 points at 1.7 per game. At the combine, he tested well enough to answer some of the questions about his frame and competitiveness, telling scouts directly, "I think sometimes my frame's not the biggest, so I just wanted to show that I can compete." The early struggles were real. The response was just as real. Here's what most videos about McKenna aren't talking about. It's not just about how good he is, it's about where he's going. Toronto hasn't won a Stanley Cup since 1967. They just finished with the 5th worst record in the league. New GM, new coach, new direction, and now a first overall pick who told the media that Toronto is the greatest market out there and that the pressure is a privilege. That's the right answer. It's also the hardest thing in hockey to actually live up to. McKenna said it himself after the draft. Obviously Matthews is on the first line, so I'm going to have to prove myself to play with a player like that. But that's my goal. I'm a playmaker, he's a shooter. I think we'd complement each other pretty well. That self-awareness is exactly what you want to hear. But what he's walking into isn't Penn State. It's Toronto, where the first slump gets dissected on every sports radio station in the country, where every mistake goes viral, and where a fan base has been waiting 59 years to feel what winning actually looks like. The question isn't whether McKenna is talented enough. It's whether Toronto gives him the patience and the structure to become what they need him to be. The ceiling is as high as any prospect the NHL has seen in years. The playmaking reads, the processing speed, the power play instincts, these are legitimate top-line NHL tools. The Kucherov and Marner offensive comparisons aren't reckless. There's real evidence behind them. The concerns are also real. His frame, 5'11", 170 pounds, will be tested by NHL physicality. His defensive engagement needs to become habitual. Back-checking effort, weak side coverage, winning more board retrievals instead of hesitating on them. The board battles that exposed him at Penn State will not get easier against NHL forwards. But here's what matters most. When the doubt was loudest, after the off-ice incident, after the slow start, after scouts started questioning the pick, he didn't collapse. He produced at 1.7 points per game in his final 19 games, and then tested well enough at the combine to answer some of the questions about his frame and competitiveness. That competitive response is the thing you can't teach. Skill gets you drafted. Response determines whether you stay. Realistic projection? A Calder Trophy conversation piece in year 1 if he earns a featured role early. Legitimate first-line upside by year 2 if the defensive habits develop and the frame keeps filling out, and there's reason to believe both can happen. The ceiling is franchise cornerstone. The only question is whether Toronto's environment accelerates that development or crushes it under the weight of 59 years of expectation. McKenna says he's ready. The hockey world is about to find out. Does McKenna thrive in Toronto, or does Toronto test him first? Drop your prediction in the comments, and if you want more videos like this, hit subscribe. We're just getting started.